Ikibungo cyangwa se Kayonza mu karere ka Kayonza umurenge wa Kabare, ahangaha twavuga ngo nacyo ni kimwe mu bintu bishimishije. Hanyuma nubwo bimeze gutyo hari ingorane zikiriho cyangwa se urugendo rugihari. Icyambere, hari ingo zimwe na zimwe abantu bahitamo kubera ko umuntu afite inzu nini, afite ahantu ho gukorera, ariko wajya kureba ugasanga ntabwo abantu bamwizeye. Aho ngaho kikaba ikibazo, bakaba umwana wanjye ntabwo ujya kwa kanaka. Ikindi cya kabiri ni uko bakora bushake, bakora bushake nta mwanya, nta buryo bafite, nta kandi kazi bafite, baba bashaka akazi. Iyo abonye akazi akora umushahara aragenda tukamubura kandi yaramaze kumenyera. Ikindi ni ubukene n'imyumvire ku babyeyi bamwe na bamwe kugira ku buryo bwo gutanga igikoma nibura ku bana. Hanyuma ikindi, hari abayobozi b'inzego z'ibanze, iyo uvuze ECD ahita kwereka ya ECD y'imbuto, ya ECD zazindi z'urwitegererezo. We niba atari iriya ikaba atari ECD. Aho ngaho kiracyari ikibazo, ariko imyumvire itangiye guhinduka, ariko ntabwo ari kuri bose. Hanyuma ikindi nuko ababyeyi hari igihe gahunda babona bafatanije n'umushinga uje, bumva n'abana b'umushinga, ni gahunda z'umushinga. Hanyuma ikindi, birumvikana mu gutangira nagira ngo mbabwire ngo ari igihe umuntu avuga ngo muri ibi ngibi bya ECD, umuntu akaba azi yuko ahita atangira ECD yo kuri rwego nicyo twavugaga, ariko turavuga ngo niba umuntu atangiriye ashaka kujya kuri iriya y'urwitegererezo, birashoboka ko utangirira mu rugo uko bishoboye, ugakomeza nka Kayonza bakoze kutangaho urugero. Izi ECD zatangiriye mu rugo, noneho bagezaho ababyeyi babona amafaranga y'ubudehe bakubaka ibyumba. Aho ngaho ni urugero rwiza, ku buryo uyu munsi bafite ibyumba 18, abana bavuye mu rugo bakajya hahandi bubatse. Aha ngaha ni urugero rwiza, ubutaha bazaba babashije no kubaka ziriya z'urwitegererezo. Rero aha ngaha ibyo byose niyo mpamvu tuvuga ngo birashoboka, ababyeyi babigizemo uruhare, birashoboka kuko umwana yumva ari mu rugo, birashoboka kubera ko abari hafi atajya kure, kandi birashoboka kufatanya natwe twese. Hariya hari ibitabo byinshi dukoresha, harimo 3 bifasha ababyeyi n'ibindi bigeze ku 9 bifasha mu kwigisha abana. Murakoze cyane, kandi twese ndumva twemeranywa yuko bishoboka ku ruhare rwa buri wese.
Arakoze cyane Eri, twongeye tumushimire. Our next presenter is Placide Habinshuti from Partners in Health, and his presentation is about factors associated with adult involvement in early learning and stimulation among children between 36 and 59 months. Please, ladies and gentlemen, appreciate him.
Thank you. As he said, my name is Placide Habinshuti. I'm from Partners in Health. So previous presenters have presented about their programs from their organization. So what is different here is not what we did as a project. It's a study that we did based on DHS data. So it's a collaborative efforts between 5 organizations: Save the Children, Partners in Health, Harvard Medical School, RBC, and Mbarara University. So we are going to see the factors associated with adult involvement in early learning stimulation among the children aged 36 to 59 months in Rwanda. So I'm going to talk about the benefits of ECD. People have talked about it yesterday, but also see the gap that we have in ECD globally, then in Rwanda. Then after, we are going to see the study that we did from the method to the conclusion. So we've been talking about this yesterday, that early years of life are very important because it shapes the future of human being. It gives it predicts the outcome on cognitive, physical, communication, and social of those children. And the involvement of an adult is really crucial in shaping that future of the children. And studies have shown that 200 million of children around the world have developmental delay, like they don't reach their full potential. And another study has gone further and found that that gap that we missed there in early learning leads to 20% deficit in one's income. So if we miss stimulation of the children during the early years, in the future, they are more likely going to earn 20% less of what they were supposed to earn. So in Rwanda, we can see the results from the recent DHS. DHS is a cross-sectional study that is conducted in Rwanda every 5 years. So the recent results showed that 49%, only 49% of the children in Rwanda were engaged in 4 or more learning activities by an adult. And we heard yesterday that there are things that are important in stimulation in children, for example, like books. Books need to be available. But the DHS showed that only 1% of the children had 3 or more books. There are also some other indicators about like giving care to the children, like the adult being with the children at home, but only 35 of the children, 35 of the children were left alone or left with an adult, a child who is less than 10 years. Same as there's another indicator talking about playthings that children are having, where we had only 30% of the children under 5 with 2 or more playthings. So all these 3 indicators, they contribute to the last one, and they give a gap there where we have only 63% of the children aged 36 to 59 months. They are developmentally on track. So after seeing this, that's when we thought about conducting our studies and to assess what groups are vulnerable here, what groups are not engaging their children in early learning stimulation. So on the method, this was a secondary data analysis. We used the DHS data, and then it had 2,675 children aged 36 to 59 months. We used as analysis a multivariable logistic regression where we had all the variables important we had in the DHS. Then we used them in the logistic regression at p-value of 0.05. So the primary outcome was defined like this. Children who were aged 36 to 59 months who were engaged in 4 or more early learning activities, was on the primary outcome, it was a yes. So those who did not reach that criteria, it was a no. Then there were 6 activities that were identified in the DHS. Then the criteria that was used there was at least be engaged in 4 or more of those 6 activities. And an adult was defined as a parent or any other adult who is 15 years old or older in the household. So the descriptive statistics, this I'm not going to go much into it, but let's move to the logistic regression, where we found that the results showed that mothers with no education were less likely to involve their children in early learning activities. So mothers with primary, secondary, and more were more likely to engage their children compared to the mother with no education. Similarly to the mothers with no occupation, they were less likely to involve their children in early learning stimulation. Obviously, children who attend any formal learning program, this is, for example, like ECD programs, children who are able to attend those programs were more likely to be engaged in activities at home. So a number of children in the household, household with more than 1 child at home, they were less likely to involve their children in early learning activities. So on the household worth index, it was found that the higher the household worth index also increased with the likelihood of engaging the children in stimulation activities. Going to the province, it was fluctuating, where it was found that Eastern and the Western, they were less likely to involve their children in early learning activities compared to Kigali City. The residence type, which is either living in a rural or living in urban area, that one was not significant even in the bivariate, but we kept it in the model to show that difference, because there are some studies that had shown that ECD programs or ECD centers, they are more likely to be in towns, like in a urban compared to rural. But the results of our study showed that there were no difference in engaging their children in early learning activities between houses in the rural and those in the urban. Our study had a limitation, so the analysis was conducted based on the DHS data. So those are the variables we had access on. But when we did the literature review, we found some other authors who have found other predictors. For example, adult vocabulary. Another study has shown that home environment can affect early learning, saying that if there are conflicts between the mother and the father, they are less likely going to engage their children in early learning activities. Also, the presence of cultural events in the neighborhood influences the early learning activities. That was another study that found that. So it's a limitation to our study, but reviewing all those studies, we found that the variables we had significant were common in all those studies, and we believe those were the main important variables. As conclusion, our study can form programs on early childhood development. There are programs that they've talked about yesterday or even today. So these results can inform these programs on where is the gap, what group of people to focus on. So a household with the parents with no education or no occupation, those are the ones to target, that they are less likely to involve their children in early learning activities. Same as households that are poor, the poorest household. Same as households with a greater number of children, because someone said yesterday when you have like 5 children to sing to, it's going to be a challenge. So those are the households to focus on. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Placide. Ladies and gentlemen, let's appreciate him once again. And we move to the next session about questions and answers. And this session, if you have a question or comment or something to add on what they have presented, you raise your hand and you'll be given a microphone. Where we have a reminder, we have interpretation services. For English, channel 1, for French, channel 2, and for Rwanda, channel 3. So feel free to ask or to intervene in any language you come visit with. The floor is just the audience.
Murakoze cyane. Nitwa Ntizimana Jean d'Amour, nk'uko bababwiye ko ndi meteresi, ndashaka kugira icyo nunganira Shema ku bintu bijyanye na gahunda ya gahunda mbonezamikurire. Yewe maze kugira umwanya wo guhabwa amahugurwa menshi, nagize igihe cyo gutekereza ko n'ahandi gahunda mbonezamikurire aho itari ku bantu batwegereye ko nayo ikwiriye kuhagera. Niyo mpamvu bababwiye ko nagize umwanya wo kugira andi marerero yo mu rugo agera ku 8, nabashije kugira umwanya wo kuganira n'ababyeyi, ibyo bigakomeza. Ibyo byarakozwe kandi na n'ubu tugira umwanya wo kuganira n'ababyeyi kugira ngo tubumvishe ko iyo gahunda n'ubundi izagumaho, naho mufatanyabikorwa igihe cyagera akagera igihe cya kontara wenda afite kuba yarangira tugasigara byakomeza. Ndashimangira cyane ko mbaye icyizere nk'aho ntuye muri uwo murenge wa Kabare babwiye n'ibyo tugenda dukora muri gahunda mbonezamikurire kizakomeza nta kintu kizayica intege. Ubwo rero ibyo bintu turabikora kandi nk'uko babwiye kuzankingi 5 niyo mpamvu tugenda tugira umwanya wo gutanga ibiganiro mu buryo butandukanye. Harimo na gahunda yo kugira gufata ababyeyi tukabahuza na gahunda y'igikoni cy'umudugudu kuri abandi badafite abana muri gahunda mbonezamikurire n'abandi bafite ahandi abana bafite abo muri gaidire n'ahandi hatandukanye, tukaganira nabo tukagira umwanya wo kubasobanurira kugira ngo buri muntu yubake icyizere ku mwana yabyaye kugira ngo ejo hazaza azabateguwe neza. Iki rero turategereza kugikora kandi tuzagikomeje, nta nubwo tuzagira umwanya wo gucika intege kuri icyo kintu. Murakoze n'icyo navuga.
Arakoze cyane Ntezimana. Yes, someone, Dekona. Protocol mwadufasha.
Thank you, MC. My name is Chris. I'm here to represent a local organization working with children and youth with disabilities called Bamoreze. Mine is to thank all the presenters for the very insightful presentation, but I also have a comment and 2 questions. One to Sarah, what would it take to scale up this Sugira Mriango model? Considering what you presented here, this is a very interesting model that our organizations based in the most remotest areas of the country could be able to take on and pick on the pillars, the components. But your study is not published yet. How do we access those findings? To Eddie, this is a very interesting presentation, particularly if you look at how it integrates different service providers in health, nutrition, child protection, and all and forth. My question is, how do we work, how does your model work with child protection actors based in the community, including those community health workers who are also working in health? How does it tap into existing structures at the community level, the village, cell, sector level, ensure that integration and sustainability when this project phases out? How does it work with the friends of the family, Chutizu Muriango, that we know are playing a great role in addressing child protection on the village level? And to proceed, this is, again, these findings are very much interesting for organizations like ours who are also doing ECD programming. How is this a published study that we can quote or tap into and make reference to? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chris.
Good morning. My name is Chantal Jégou. I'm nutrition officer for the WHO country office, and I have a specific question related to teaching, educating families on infant and young child feeding. I see different presentations with different modules on nutrition. That's one side. And on the other side, there is specific counseling cards on maternal, infant, and young child nutrition that are existing, currently being revised by NECDP with support from different partners. And we are supporting trainings of community health workers using those cards with a very detailed message on how to support breastfeeding, complementary feeding. So my question is, we need to do something to be sure that the message being given to community health workers are the same as the message being given by different modules, developed by different organizations to families. Thank you.
Thank you. One question, please.
Thank you.
I beg your pardon, please, we have someone here. Yeah.
Which one are you
It's you, madam. Please take it. Yeah, push it up and the technical team.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I am here representing an organization of persons with visual impairment. And I was listening to the presentations both yesterday and today. And although when we were talking about the policies, we did mention, somebody did mention about learning for children or for children with disabilities. But from these presentations, I have not heard anybody acknowledging that they have come across children with disabilities, and how do you support such families? Also, we are talking about children between 6 and 36 months, but like we were saying yesterday, sometimes with early childhood education, the children have been left behind for some reason, like parents were not interested in them because they were born with an obvious disability, or intellectually, the children are developing much more slowly. So maybe a child who is 3 years old is still behind a child who is 6 months old in development. And I am wondering, how do we support these families to be able to help their children to get the maximum development and education in the final analysis? Because here we are talking about human capital development. If we don't start early, then it's like we don't start at all. I mean, this person is going to be left behind. So how do we help these families so that their children don't get left behind? Thank you.
Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, on the basis of the time, let's our panelists first of all answer this question. And we start with you, Dr. Sala, and for the, thank you.
Yeah. So I'll try to address some of these questions. I can actually start with the last question about disabilities, and a few questions were about disabilities in children. We did include children who had a disability in the study if we came across children who had a visual impairment or a hearing impairment, but we didn't go out and actively seek children with disabilities. But we did look at the data to see if the intervention was effective for children who had a disability, and we found that the intervention was as effective in children or in families where a child had a disability as it was in families where no child had a disability. That said, we do think that in order to really improve the development of those children, the intervention needs to be targeted specifically to meet the needs of those families. But we did include children who had a disability.
Sure.
And there was a scale-up question also that I just wanted to touch upon briefly, because this is obviously also a very important question, and we would love to see the program scaled up, of course, and we're working on what a structure for scaling up the program would look like and really building on existing government structures, because that's the only way to make the program sustainable. That's also why in the design we made sure to select the community-based volunteers so that it mimics the Friends of the Family workforce, because we would ideally want to tap into one of those workforces and make use of resources that already exist and educate those further. About the nutrition and messaging, that's also a very important point, and I would like to see those cards that you provide the community-based health workers with. I think it's very important that we streamline the messaging and don't confuse families who are already vulnerable. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. Mr. Ely, something to add?
Yeah, ku kibazo reka nanjye mpere kuri iki kibazo cya Donatira ku bijyanye n'abana bafite ubumuga birumvikana ko kugeza uyu munsi kiracyari ikibazo, ariko ntabwo ducecetse kuko mu gihe twagendaga tubona ikibazo cyagaragaye cyane nibura turabanza gushima yuko abaturage bamaze kuzumva, nubwo hari bakeya bagihisha abantu babazane, ariko nibo batangiye kubazana. Uko kubazana bitera ikibazo, reka mvuge umuntu akagira ngo ni ikibazo, ariko kuba ari ikibazo nibyo bituma kiba igisubizo, kuko baba baje, iyo bataje ntitubabona, iyo baje baraboneka. Mu gihe gishize twagerageje kureba abana twaba dufite muri za gahunda mbonezamikurire, twari tumaze kugera kuri 232. Ikibazo uyu munsi iyo tuvuze ubumuga abenshi bumva ahubwo ubumuga bw'ingingo, ariko nk'uko bavugaga ikibazo abatabona, abatumva, abafite uburwayi bwo mu mutwe, kugeza ubu cyari ikibazo. Icyo twabashije gukora cyakora tumaze kubona abo bana bose, icyo twakoze ko habayeho gukora nibura twagize disability inclusion guide, tuyishyira mu Kinyarwanda, tuyihuguraho abakorerabushake n'abakozi, noneho bituma bakomeza no gufasha ababyeyi bakabakangurira kuzana abana, ariko birumvikana ko hari aho hakiri ikibazo kuko ntabwo baragira skills zo gufasha aba bana. Iki ngiki cyo ni ikibazo nibwira ko twese buri wese yagombye kubitekerezaho. Hanyuma ikindi cyakora dukora nubwo bimeze gutyo, mukureba none ngo se uyu mwana icyo tutabashije kumukorera nihe yabasha kubona ubundi bufasha cyangwa serivisi, hakabaho kubalinkinga nabo babasha kubona ubufasha kugeza icyo nicyo twabashije gukora. Ku kibazo cya Chris ntabwo twagiye tuvuga cyane kubera ikibazo cy'igihe, ariko mu byo dukora dufatanya n'inshuti z'umuryango cyane, tukorana inama, turabahugura, noneho tukajya no muri za gahunda cyane cyane kuri gahunda gukangurira imiryango kwandikisha abana mu bitabo by'irangamimerere, ariko noneho no gukomeza gukangurira ababyeyi gahunda y'uburere buboneye. Abajyana mu buzima dufatanya muri izi gahunda zose, ndetse tunafatanya n'ibigo nderabuzima, nk'uko twavugaga tubasaba ko za gahunda zose zakorerwaga ahantu hatandukanye zajya zikorerwa ahantu kuri ECD site nk'uko dukunda kubivuga. Rero abajyana mu buzima turakorana, kandi ibyo byose nk'uko twavuze buri cyose dukora tubikorana n'inzego z'ibanze, kuva mu mudugudu kugeza mu rwego rw'akarere, hanyuma ku rwego rw'igihugu dufatanya nabo muri rusange nk'ubu ngubu. Murakoze.
Murakoze cyane. Mr. Placide. Mike, please.
Let me just first talk about the children with disabilities. So for Partners in Health, there was no existing program about ECD, but after seeing the results that we got from this study, that's when we thought about there is a problem here. And currently the program is still at design phase. We started with Burera. We are planning on supporting the existing ECD centers that are already in Burera, and we started with one sector which has the highest prevalence of malnutrition. So right now what we're doing is doing a baseline, seeing the needs assessment, and I believe children with disability, that's something we are going to take care of when you see that needs in there. So, and then another question that was addressed to me was whether this study was published or not. The study is not yet published. It's towards being published, like next month. We are going to submit it. But yeah, when I started presenting at conferences, people told me there's no need to present something that is already published because someone can go online and learn about it. But when you have your work there, which is not yet published, it's good to show it at conferences and it can form programs, because what we have here in our analysis, that's what shaped the existing of the ECD program that we are going to launch in Bulera. So we hoped it can inform also other people who are designing programs here in this room. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Madam NCD Coordinator, if you can allow 2 or 1 question, that one who has a burning issue or one? Has a burning issue? Oh, yeah. That's the side.
If we can keep it to 1 minute each person, we can
Yes.
do that for. But please keep it to 1 minute. Okay, murakoze. Naturutse mu muryango witwa Kura Umwana, ariko bimwe tumaze imyaka myinshi dukora muri gahunda ya ECD. Hari ibintu bibiri gusa nshaka gusaba niba bishoboka, mukazadufasha kureba ukuntu icyo kibazo cyakemuka. Iyo ugiye kureba ECD zose zihari zihasanzwe, inyinshi zigenda zifungwa, ECD centers. Ubwo ndavuga kuri ECD centers ikibazo kimwe, ikindi ndakivuga kuri ECD. Iyo ugiye kureba impamvu zifungwa, nuko abarezi b'abana batabona igihembo cyangwa se agahimbazamusyi, ngo niko nabyita. Akenshi hari umuntu kare yahoze avuga ati iyo babonye aho babahemba basiga b'abana bakigendera, b'abana bagasigara gutyo. Rimwe na rimwe ugasanga za ECD centers ziyambaje abaza kurera abana batanabiherewe ubumenyi, kuko babandi babiherewe ubumenyi bamaze kugenda ahandi.
Ubwo mwabonye nyinshi kandi tugira imana muri iki cyumba dufite ba vice mayors, mwavuga nk'enye n'uturere turimo, kuko nibo baza kudufasha buriya gusubiza, kuko nibo bafite ibisubizo.
Ntabwo naza nta kibazo tuzabasanga, tuzabibaha, dusanzwe dukorana n'uturere. Reka mbasobanurire igituma, ndabasobanurira igituma.
Either ubivuge cyangwa ubireke. Turi hano muri conference kugira ngo dushakire igisubizo abana bacu, kandi bamvaye banyicaye inyuma bose bahise bavuga yego. None se wowe urabika iryo banga ritadufasha kubera iki?
Impamvu nuko ndifuza ko umuntu yatanga imibare ifatika.
Oyavuga gusa ECD nk'ebyiri, uti ECD runaka mu murenge runaka muri aka karere. Wenda uvuga uti nizo nibutse, izindi reka nzazirebe nzibabwire zose, ariko uvuga nibura nk'ebyiri cyangwa eshatu.
Hari aho twagiye mu Bugesera, dusanga ahantu hari ECD yari yaratangijwe na Planet National. Ako turebye tubona inyubako zirahari, ubona hasa n'ahantu hahoze hari abana, ariko wareba ugasanga nta bana bagihari.
Ubwo Plan International mu Bugesera nubwo tutamye umurenge.
Yego.
Ariko niba hari umuntu wa Bugesera hano urumvise. Yego.
Icyo ni ikibazo kimwe, ntabwo biragoye guhita ubona budget yo guhemba abarezi b'abana, ariko nukureba nibura izihari zamaze gutangizwa uburyo zakomeza gufashwa zigakomeza ntizongere gusenyuka. Ikindi kibazo mfite ni impungenge kuri ECD. Turavuga ECD tukabihereza mu miryango iriya tubona cyane cyane nko mu biturage n'ahandi, ariko
narasa ku ntego.
Ndavuga ECD yo kuri twebwe turi hano, natwe mu bana bacu, mu miryango turimo, abantu bafite imirimo itandukanye basigira abana bakozi. Iyo ugiye kureba usanga bari abakozi dusigira abana nta bumenyi nabo baba bafite. Navuga ngo niba bishoboka nko ku rwego rw'utugari, hari abana barangije za segondere ariko batagize amahirwe.
Murakoze cyane, ikibazo cyanyu cyumvikanye, reka ko bari bubasubize. Madoko temutwemereye, asigaye umuntu umwe kuri ruhande bavanye bagasubiza.
Hari umwe wari usigaye hano ariko muhine cyane.
Murakoze, Ntinda ni comment nanga kuri ku byo Domitire yaravuze, turaziranye cyane. Nitwa Valentine, I'm ECD expert. I'm supporting different organizations setting up ECDs. Together with the Strive Foundation, together with Chance for Childhood, we are implementing inclusive ECD in Northern Province, Musanze District. Ikintu nashaka kubwira other organizations, mubishiremo ingufu birashoboka ko bazana abana. Mbere ntibabyumvaga, ariko systeme nakoresheje nkabona ishoboka, nabasabaga ko mwakoresha ni ukwifashisha ziya nama zo mu midugudu.
mugende mubabwire amakuru, mubabwire ko abana bafite uburenganzira bwo kwiga, birashoboka bazabazana. Ntimubirengagize kuko natwe ubwacu nabonye tubatinya somehow, ariko iyo ubazanye ukagerageza gutanga trainings ku community health workers, caregivers, birashoboka. Gerageze mushyiremo ingufu bizakunda. Thank you.
Murakoze cyane. Yes, one person here.
Yes, babiri hano twari twemereye bonyine.
Yes, Simeon from Rwanda, we partner with the global communities. Ndagira ngo reke gatoya cyane kuri home based ECD. Iriya program nitwe tuyimplementinga duhawe inkunga na ECD nyurije muri global communities, ariko nagira ngo mvuge gatoya ko kugeza uyu munsi abantu bari kuyishimira, ariko haracyarimo kuyisuzugura. Iri ikorerwa mu ngo kwisuzugura, hakarebwa iy'akarere iri modo, hakareba ya Imbuto Foundation, hakarebwa n'izindi wenda zifite amazu, ariko iri ikaba igifite ikibazo. Nagira ngo nyakubahwa madamu coordinator wa NECDB hagire icyo ivugwaho kugira ngo abantu bose dufatanije n'inzego z'ibanze ihabwe agaciro, yubahwe, hanyuma tuyikore kandi bizagenda neza. Murakoze
cyane.
Murakoze. Ngewe nitwa Mukangarambe Tereza, nkaba nturuka mu karere ka Ruhango. Hari ibibazo bibiri Eliya yakomojeho. Yavuze ngo gahunda zizaramba. Twishimira ko zizaramba. Dufite za ECD zirazo mu ngo nkuko bagenzi banjye barimo babivuga. Zirazo mu ngo zakoraga, abana rwose babyitabiraga, abantu bose nibumva kimwe nyine. Hariho ababyeyi batize maze mubivuga bakabuza nk'abana kujya kwiga. Y'amafaranga y'igikoma cy'abana hari ababyeyi babyura bakayatanga. Iyo dukoresheje inama n'inzego z'ibanze zikadufasha byo biratungana. None ikibazo uriya mubyeyi avugaga niba aba muri Gatsibo, yavuze ko bari yabareba bakorerabushake. Ugira gutya umubyeyi akakubwira nkaho ufite rwa rugo watanze, ahubwo ati uyu munsi sinzi, icyumweru kigashira ari wowe wibanda kw'abo bana. Byazashoboka mwebwe mukore rwose, iki kintu kirakomeye cyane kandi ni cyiza, abana kibafitiye akamaro pe n'ababyeyi bakibafitiye akamaro. Tekereza cyagiye b'abana baje mu gitondo, wowe ufite gahunda yo kuva mu rugo, umuntu akakubwira ati singije. Bariya barezi badufasha kureba bariya bana, ni ikibazo gikomeye cyane.
Murakoze cyane, bafise barabafasha.
Mudufashe bizagende neza kandi byiza. Murakoze.
Yes, kwaza ku bisubizo. Hano imbere kwa Vice Mayor.
Murakoze. Nitwa Francine Mukangenzi, Vice Mayor Ruhango. Hari ibibazo twakomeje kwibaza, twibaza niba koko izi ECD center turiho twubaka ndetse na home based ECD zizakomeza. Hari mugenzi wacu hari uvuze ati hari naho zifungwa, ariko icyo nshaka kuvuga, ndashaka kuvuga ko habayeho kuzifunga cyangwa se gucika intege n'izikomeze, tukaba tubifitemo uruhare. Nko mu ntara y'Amajyepfo hari gahunda twatangiye y'umudugudu ntangarugero, tugafata mu murenge, tugafata mu mudugudu umwe ukennye cyane kurusha iyindi. Wa mudugudu urimo ibibazo, harimo abana bataye ishuri, hari malnutrition, ku buryo tuvuga tutuye umudugudu muri uyu murenge kuko turabona ufite ibibazo. Iyo tumaze kuwemeranyaho nk'umurenge, duhita tuwutekerereza, tugakora concept y'icyo tugiye gukorera uwo mudugudu. Ku cyerekeranye rero no guhangana n'ibibazo bya malnutrition ndetse no kurera abana, hari nk'umudugudu dufite witwa Karama, uri mu murenge wa Ntongwe. Uyu mudugudu wari numwe mu mudugudu muri iyo midugudu nababwiraga twatoranyije, wari ufite ikibazo gikomeye cyane, abana barwaye indwara z'imirire mibi, ndetse hari n'abana bataye ishuri ari benshi. muri kwa kwegera wa mudugudu kugira ngo uzabe umudugudu ntangarugero kandi uvuye kure. Twatangiyemo gahunda nziza cyane. Twatangiye gahunda yo kuzigamira abana. Twahereye ku myaka 4 gusubiza hasi, ndetse twongera gufata n'ikindi cyiciro imyaka 4 kugera kuri 17. Imyaka 4 kugera kuri 17, impamvu twabatandukanyije gutyo, bari abana batishuri cyane. Noneho gusubiza hasi bari babana bibereye mu ngo, umubyeyi yajya guhinga akajyana umwana mu murima afite nk'imyaka 3 cyangwa 2 n'igice. Umwana ugasanga yibanira na nyina nyine muri ibyo bitaka, nta kindi kintu azi. Tumaze rero kwigisha ababyeyi ibyiza byo kurera abana hamwe, tukabafasha mu kubaha indyo yuzuye ndetse no kubakangurira ubwonko kugira ngo abana bakure neza. Ubu ababyeyi nibo babifashe mu maboko. Ababyeyi bibujije ECD ntangarugero nziza cyane, barangije baravuga bati iyi ECD kugira ngo duhembe mudugudu wacu tugiye kuyifatanya n'ibiro bya mudugudu. ECD yegeranye n'ibiro bya mudugudu. Ababyeyi bishimiye ko abana babo bafite aho basigara bagiye gukora, kandi bafite gahunda nziza cyane. Ubonye 100, ubonye 200, ubonye 500 arayazana akazigamira umwana we. Aha rero nkaba navuga nti nta mpamvu yo gucika intege. Ni ubukangurambaga tugomba gukora twebwe. Wa mubyeyi akabifata mu maboko ye akumva ko ari we ugomba kuzigamira umwana. Niba na ya mata atabonetse akumva ko bafata soya, bagafata amasaka, bagateka igikoma, umwana agakura neza kubwo twakoze bwa bukangurambaga bwimbitse.
Murakoze cyane. Yego,
mu munota umwe igitumye nsaba ijambo, nitwa Mutoni, ndi Vice Mayor Sosiyete wa Rwamagana. Ni uko nigeze gushaka kuvuga ko aho gukurikije ubukangurambaga n'aho bugeze dushobora no kuzagira ubucucike. Numva bavuze ahantu henda gufungwa. Ndatekereza twebwe nko mu nzego z'ibanze, wenda mpereye no kuri cya Bugesera bavuze, mpise mpamagara mugenzi wanjye yitabiriye inama njyanama wa Bugesera Vice Mayor, ariko ntabwo abizi yuko hari ahantu hafunze. Ubwo icyo ni kimwe. Ntabwo uyu munota dukurikije ko dufite home based ziri mu tugari, mu midugudu, dukurikije uriya mubyeyi maîtresse wavuze ukuntu yafunguye home based zirenga 7, kandi tuzi neza yuko wenda iri ECD iri modo yo yitabirwa cyane. Ntabwo uyu munsi akarere gashobora kumva ko habaho ECD ifunze, ngira ngo byo byaba atari byo. Ahubwo icyo nashaka kuvuga uyu munsi, kwemeranyije neza yuko ECD ntabwo ari inzu. ECD ni service iherwa aho hantu. Niyo haba muri shitingi hatangirwa zira service zose, iyo ngiyo ni ECD. Ndabona urugero rwo mu karere ka Rwamagana, aho byibura abantu bakora, buriya dufite abantu bo mu giciro cya mbere bakora muri VUP Public Works, bahembwa amafaranga make, hagati y'igihumbi wenda n'500 ukurikije ayo bantu batanga. Nimba mwene abo bantu bemera gutanga 100 ku munsi kugira ngo abana babo basigare hafi y'aho igikorwa babone ya security y'umwana, babone igikoma umwana arye anywe, ibyo bintu birumvikanisha ko hari aho ubukangurambaga bugeze. Ahubwo rero nkaba navuga inti leta yacu ifite uburyo irimo gukora ubukangurambaga binyuze mu nzego z'ibanze, NECDP, ahantu hatandukanye ababyeyi bamaze no kubyumva rwose. Kandi ntabwo tuzatangirira ECD kuri ECD ziri modo, byanze bikunze tuzahera n'ubundi tubayeho mu byiciro bitandukanye by'ubuzima. Ndatekereza rero yuko izo ECD zose turaziha imbaraga, zaba arizo abantu bahembwa. Ni byiza kuko hari abantu bafite ubushobozi. Nimba hari naho bari ababyeyi baba bafite oreri yo kuvuga ngo uyu munsi ndirirwana abana, ejo birirwane, nabyo ibyo ngibyo byose turabiha imbaraga. Twebwe rero mu nzego z'ibanze turumva dukeneye ko ECD zakwiyongera aho ariho hose. Twebwe twagerageza kumobiliza ababyeyi, baba basigarana abana, baba n'abazana abana, ariko mobilizasiyo igakomeza. Nashaka kuvuga ko tudashobora kwemera na gato ko ECD yafungwa mu turere tuyoboye ntabwo bishoboka.
Murakoze cyane, mutwemerere dusoreze ahangaha. Madame Coordinator, umwanya mwadaye warangiye ariko ubwo mubyemeye
reka duhe ijambo umwe mu ba members ya ECD. Namusanze aragira It's very hard for our vice mayor abantu bagashaka kuvuga.
Yeah, birumvikana. Yes.
Mufashe microphone.
Yeah, protocol please, mudufashe.
Urakoze Coordinator. Nge nitwa Ladislas Ngendahimana, ndi member steering committee ya ECD, ariko ndi na secretary general w'ishyirahamwe ry'uturere n'umujyi wa Kigali. Icyo nashaka kuvuga ni uko icyambere kuba ECDs zigomba gushyigikirwa, iyo ni principle itari subject to debate. Tugomba kuyishyigikira mu nyungu z'igihugu no mu nyungu z'abanyarwanda ndetse no mu nyungu z'isi muri rusange. Icya kabiri, numvise hari ba vice mayors bavuga ngo leta ni dufashe ni ikora iki, ariko local government bari hano niyo leta. Hirya local government ziri hano ntibategereze indi leta izaza kubibakorera, kuko nibo bafite abaturage. Icya gatatu nashaka kuvuga nuko nubwo NGOs n'abafatanyabikorwa bakora muri supply, baza muri distribution n'ibindi, sustainability izukira ku mitwe ntabwo izukira ku biribwa. Ari ongera ari iki byose ari ubufasha bwose butangwa, nge nasaba ubufasha bukomeye mu bukangurambaga mu nzira zose byacamo, ariko icyo umuturage yahabwa icyo ari cyo cyose habeho n'uburyo bwo kumwigisha yuko ibyo bintu bizaramba, ari uko yabigize ibye, atazagira ngo hari abarimo kubimukoraho akaba beneficiary gusa, ahubwo aba ari we uba prime actor, abandi ahubwo baza kumwunganira, abanje gutaking your responsibility from the beginning, otherwise kurivasinga trend byazatugora. Icyo nashakaga gusorezaho rero yenda nacyo ni igisanzwe, nuko local government na za NGOs n'abandi babafatanyabikorwa mu iterambere, ariko ibintu bitagenze neza blame za kuri local government. Nge nifuzaga yuko iki kintu twagifata as a shared responsibility, tugatangira tugendana hamwe. Local government batumire stakeholders mu gihe baje kubabwira ngo ni muduhe ibi n'ibi, ariko bagera ku bindi bakabashyira iruhande, urugendo rwose twese turufatanye. Iki ngiki cyo yenda tuzanakomeza kugishimangira, kuko nkishyira hamwe twebwe twumva yuko abaturage n'abafatanyabikorwa bagomba kuba abafatanyabikorwa n'ubuyobozi kugira ngo twubake iterambere rirambye. Nicyo nashaka kuvuga. Murakoze.
Murakoze cyane nyakubahwa Vice Mayor.
Murakoze. Nikwa Maria Kararo wa Maria, nkaba ndi umuyobozi w'akarere wungirije mu karere ka Musanze. Ngira ngo rwose nta nubwo bishidikanywaho ECD zo zigomba kubaho kandi zikamanuka ari iwacu mu mudugudu. Icyo nashaka kuvuga, twibuke ko turi muri konferansi irimo kureba ubushobozi mu kubaka umuntu wuzuye, ariko se ubwo bushobozi mu kubaka umuntu wuzuye, uwo muntu wuzuye tuzamwubakira hehe? Nta handi ni mu muryango. Niba rero ari mu muryango, ni ukuvuga ngo abagize umuryango babandi ejo twabonye nibo bagomba kugira uruhare rukomeye mu kubaka umuntu wuzuye, cyangwa mu guha ubushobozi kugira ngo umuntu akure ari umuntu wuzuye. Jewe muri Musanze ndabaha urugero rufatika, aho idini rya EAR aho rifite urusengero aho ariho hose hari ECD, bahashyize ECD, kandi urusengero ntago ari umufatanyabikorwa wundi, ni abaturage basengera muri urwo rusengero. Niba ababyeyi n'ubundi bagaruka basengera muri urwo rusengero, ababyeyi ku rusengero bakishyira hamwe bo ubwabo. Kandi noneho n'ikindi aho binabera byiza, ntabwo ari abantu basengera muri Anglican Church bazanamo abana babo gusa, n'abandi baturanye aho ngaho begereye urwo rusengero bazana abana, kabone n'iyo baba bava mu yandi madini. Ukabona rero ari commitment ikomeye ko ababyeyi uyu munsi bafite inyota yo kugira ngo abana babo bagire aho babasiga, yo kugira ngo abana babo bashobore gukangura ubwonko, bazajye gutangira amashuri abanza nabo basobanutse ari abana bazima. Gusa ikigero twifuza kugeraho ntiturakigeraho, ariko ubukangurambaga, imyumvire, ababyeyi bamaze guhumuka, bamaze kumenya akamaro ka ECD. Ahubwo wenda icyo navuga nanambwira
munasoza Vice Mayor,
yego, nuko nawe uriya wari urimo avuga wenda ko ahantu bafunze, naye as Vice Mayor ntabwo mbibaza ko uyu munsi ikigero aho ababyeyi bageze bumva akamaro ka ECD bamaze gutera imbere cyane, ahubwo yadufasha nawe aho ari n'aho akorera mu bukangurambaga ku babyeyi babandi mvuga wenda abo ngabo yavuze bakiri inyuma batarumva akamaro. Ariko uru rugero rwa EAR ni urugero rufatika, uburyo imyumvire y'ababyeyi aho imaze kugira kabone n'iyo abantu baba bahujwe n'idini runaka, ariko bakagira n'uruhare rwo kwishyiriraho amarerero hariya ku rusengero ndetse no mu mudugudu iwabo. Ni urwo rugero nashakaga kubasangiza kugira ngo twumve neza ahantu imyumvire y'abaturage uyu munsi dufite igeze. Murakoze.
Murakoze cyane Vice Mayor. Ndabizi moderator arimo kugerageza kugira ngo tujye kuri session ikurikira. Hari ibibazo tudasubije, za gufata responsibility. Mugenzi wacu waturutse muri Kunda umwana ndamwegera tuganire ku kibazo cya kabiri kijyanye na ECE, ndamwegera kugira ngo tubiganire na element yavuzweho. Numva twese nk'abafatanyabikorwa dukwiye gutahana from this session. Hari nibagiwe izina, ariko hari undi wari wicaye hariya wabivuzeho avuga ati ni expert muri ECD, afatanya n'abandi kuzitangiza. Hari ikintu cy'ingenzi cyane atubwiye,
yitwa
Valentine. Nagira ngo umushimire kuko yatubwiye ati dukorane n'inzego zisanzwe zihari, dukorane na mudugudu, dukorane tubinyujije mu muganda, mugoroba w'ababyeyi. Icyo kintu ni ingenzi cyane ko nibwo buryo ibyo dukora byose bizaramba. Bityo nkaba Nshinda na Chantal wibukiranyije hano ko dufite ibikoresho abajyanama b'ubuzima bafite, nkahita nsaba Dr. Sarah
Yes.
Yuko sugira muryango bareba uburyo ibyo bakora byose nubwo ari ubushakashatsi, ariko bakoreshe ibihari kuko nibyo bizasigara. Ubushakashatsi bakora nka project buzagenda, ariko ibyo bizasigara. I hope the translation was perfect on that, but I'll take it on after. I also wanted to ask specifically, Umuhuza, you're in the room. We haven't been able to discuss this, but if you could please, during maybe the lunch break, discuss with Sugira Muryango, also kindly ask you, and we see what you're doing, how it's coming, how is it common? Because you did it in Nyaruguru, Ngororero, and Sugira Muryango is in Ramagana and?
It's in Ruvaku, Ngoma, and Nyanza.
Okay, but you did the Ramagana part, right? The pilot was in Ramagana. So you are both using curriculum to work with parents. At the end of the day, if it's going to scale up, like you answered the question, it has to come back to us as government. So it's important to see what is being tried here and there. How do the two come together so that, you know, when you're done, it is easy for us to pick on what we think is best for us. So please, if you can, since we are here networking, share lunch.
Thank you, Madam Coordinator. Ladies and gentlemen, we come to the close of the session, and I would like to thank our panelists. Mr. Placide, thank you for your presentation. Mr. Eli, thank you for your presentation, and Mr. Dr. Sala, thank you for your presentation. So we hope we'll go a second presentation, and yeah, thank you. You can join your place. Yeah, a round of applause for President. Oh, so. Next section will be taken by Mr. Boniface. Boniface Indalou. Welcome. Please, a round of applause to Mr. Boniface.
All protocols observed. As I've already heard, my name is Boniface Kakobwe. I work as ECD specialist at UNICEF Rwanda. But being a panel, I'm going to have colleagues who are going to help us in the discussion. So allow me to call upon Igidia Mtesi. Igidia is the Education Technical Manager for Vision Rwanda. So let's give her a clap as she comes forward. I also have Emily Weiss. She's from Save the Children International, the Tanzania office. She's a program manager for Tuwakeze Pamoja program. Emily, yeah, that's Emily. Let's also appreciate that she comes. I also have Helbert. Helbert is from Save the Children International Uganda office. He's a male officer there. So Helbert, welcome. I should also mention that much as these three are sitting in front, but there have been other institutions that have also been part of the process of preparing the panel. Kate Thomas of the Cambridge Education, she's not with us. Also Three Stones International. I don't know if Marianne is in the house, but she's also available to provide. Yeah, so she's sitting there where need be. She's also we are going to refer to her to also help us. As you've seen on the program, this panel discussion is focusing on ensuring high quality, sustainable and integrated ECD for every child. So we are not just talking of ECD, but the quality aspect, the sustainability, answering the question, is it sustainable and is it integrated? So that's the focus within this 1 hour. Now before I hand over to the team, I just want to give a background, then I'll guide the floor. I think sitting in this room from yesterday up to this hour, and again referring to science, we all agree that a nurturing and a good home environment is key for child development. So much as we talk of the centers, but the child spends most of the time in the home. So that's why we are talking of parenting. So a nurturing environment, conducive environment in the home is very critical. At the same time, for us to have some meaningful impact, the family needs to be at the center. The family, I'm talking of both biological parents and even other primary caregivers in the home, but the whole family has to be at the center. So it begins in the home. So that's why we can't deny it, but the family has to be the focus. At the same time, for that to happen, we now look at the physical environment in the home. Yesterday we heard of wash issues, the hygiene, the protection aspects within the home. Those are also critical for us to have a good parenting program. But now there is also the interaction in the home. Is it a home where people are fighting? Is it there where there's love, where there's affection, where children's rights are protected, the dignity is there? Do the parents talk to the children? Do they interact among themselves with the youth or their siblings in the home? So the home environment is very critical. So we may look at both the physical, the availability of food, the nutrition aspects, but there's also, people are not mechanical. We are human beings with emotions, and children also have emotions. With that kind of background, I just want to also give you a highlight of the three countries represented here. Like Tanzania, for example, she's going to expand, but just have to put it in context. Tanzania program is guided by an integrated strategy. Currently, they are putting up a costed plan, of implementation. There's also an active, working group in country that is also bringing together partners. But now, Emily is sitting there within that broader context and now narrow down to give us examples of what is happening in the context of parenting. And specifically, she's going to talk of protection. So the protection arm of parenting or ECD. Uganda, Uganda is going to share with us, Herbert is going to talk of male involvement. So remember, I've been sitting here talking of male involvement, so Herbert is here, is also going to share about male involvement and how that is linked to the health. Rwanda, as you are aware, some of you, the ECD policy was revised in 2016. When you look at the policy, you are going to find that one of the principles is parents at the center of caregiving. And I'm actually quoting from the policy. Parents are at the center of caregiving. And when you also read the policy, you see that parenting education and support is one of the strategic areas. So we are not just doing from the bruise, we have the mandate from the policy. Recently, a parenting curriculum has been drafted. If you see the agenda, is also mentioning of the parenting curriculum. We have worked with Cambridge Education with the leadership of the National ECD program. But some insights as a background before I hand over. The curriculum has some guiding principles. One of them is child care must be integrated. So when you read the curriculum, it keeps on bringing us back. You can't parent in isolation. Integration is key. And it's also saying all the parents have some knowledge. So the curriculum is pushing us to say, let's not think that parents are at zero. I gave an example in one of the sessions. Some of us, our parents even didn't know the term ECD, but they supported us. But sometimes as experts, we go as if parents are at zero. But they do parenting. All they need is capacity building and support. So I think the parenting curriculum is taken aside. And parents are the first guardians, teachers, role models. And both parents are also partners. That's why we have male involvement coming in. And communities are collectively responsible for parenting. So that's where Rwanda is, that's where Tanzania is, that's where Uganda is. And now I welcome the colleagues in front to help us give us specifics pertaining to the ECD program, specifically parenting in the countries. Our first presenter is going to be World Vision. So Egidia, this is your time. In that context of parenting, what are the examples or what's the program you are doing in Rwanda?
Thank you so much. In terms of parenting, we have two key models. One is just basically targeting children at area from 0 to 3, but that parenting is just done through the integrated process, where we have said that through our programs, through our interventions, we are looking forward how can we bring the package to the household level, and then we impact the children that later on will be the future generation of the country. So we are targeting those children through immunization. In health aspect, it is about the immunization process. We also do child protection for safeguarding and also protecting children. We do WASH interventions, which was talked about since yesterday. And we also have education, which is early learning. But nutrition component goes with economic empowerment, which we normally do through our beneficiaries. How do we identify our beneficiaries? What are some of the criteria? So we normally see the best way to parent children, to parent parents or caregivers, is just to train them and to give them all the skills, all the information. Are they knowledgeable about what they should do in terms of parenting? Do they have the competencies? Do they have the skills? So how can we work with local leaders, existing structures, whether informal or formal structures, the local leaders, so that the parents can take their responsibility in terms of parenting? Because, first of all, they are the primary caregivers, they are primary teachers, and they are primary protectors of the children. So we want to ensure that much of our effort is being invested into that process. So in terms of running groups, we also help children to have infrastructure, learning environment. Do they have, we want them to have the play-based learning. Do they have the materials? Do they have the appropriate equipment to help them? Because I have ever seen an ECD where children were sitting on these desks in the classroom and they could not, their feet could not reach at the ground. So we work around the environment for the children and see how do they have the appropriate equipments, the chairs, the tables, are they appropriate to their age? How can we work with the government, with local leaders, with existing partners, including the parents themselves, because they are also considered as partners, even though their children is their primary responsibility, but we also consider them as partners. So how do they contribute towards that so that we can have the environment that is conducive and appropriate for early learning and also holistic development? That's the milestone that we normally work through that process. And we have done several interventions and activities in terms of capacity building for parents, caregivers, and also contributing to the environment, learning environment for children, and also work closely with existing structures, whether they are formal or informal, to ensure that parenting is understood and they are trying to do it or to practice it as it is required. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And I think you have heard it all. Our parents need the support, the family strengthening. And I like also when you say the making the family home conducive. I can borrow the language to say, family that is more like in quotes, an ECD center also. Because people think ECD is supposed to be only the center, but in our homes, should have that mind that the home should also be like ECD friendly and the child should have the space. So thank you very much for the vision for that. Allow me to move to experiences from Tanzania. Emily.
Thank you, and let me first begin by thanking the organizers of this conference. I've already learned so much here, and I hope that this panel contributes in a small way. My name is Emily Weiss. I'm from the Save the Children Tanzania country office. I manage a program called Tuwekeze Pamoja. It's funded by Comic Relief, and it's implemented by Save the Children and Action for Development programs in Mbozi. I would also just like to note that I have some colleagues here with me today, James Sangoro, our education specialist from the Tanzania office, and Daria Rubumira from Actions for Development programs. They are both experts in the field, so please feel free to direct your questions towards me, but also towards them. So what do we do? First of all, we operate in Songwe region in Mbozi district. For those of you not as familiar, it's kind of near the Zambian border in Tanzania. We work in 8 wards or in 35 villages. We began implementation in July 2017, and we've registered more than 4,600 beneficiaries, and we plan to register just under 16,000 by 2022. We run, in half of our villages, we run something that we call Core, and half of our villages we run something that we call Core Plus. I'll get more into that design in just a minute. To give you an overview, we also run parenting programs. So they're focused on low-cost, community-based solutions. So we have parenting groups of caregivers, between 20 and 25 caregivers in each village. The curriculum we have for parents of children aged 0 to 3, and we have another curriculum for parents of children aged 4 to 6. These groups are held in any available space at the village level. It could be in a church, it could be at the village executive office, but wherever is available. And they're run through community facilitators who are trained by our program, by Actions for Development programs. In 0 to 3 we have 10 sessions, and these sessions cover all of the domains of the nurturing care framework. So we are integrated and holistic across all of those domains, including health, nutrition, early learning, stimulation, and child protection. And we use key messages to demonstrate, key messages, games, and role play to demonstrate parenting techniques. In 4 to 6, we offer 8 sessions. The content is a bit different according to the age and development of the child. We also include home visits for vulnerable caregivers, and we do ECD days in each village each year. Now, in half of those villages, we do the same program, but we also have what we call Core Plus. So we offer an additional 5 sessions that are focusing on violence, reducing violence in the household. When we talk about reducing violence, we're talking about violence against children, but we're also talking about interpersonal violence. As Boniface mentioned over here, children are affected by violence that they experience themselves, both physically and emotionally, but they are affected when they see violence occurring as well. So we think it's very important to focus on having that happy household. We also offer additional home visits in this Core Plus, and we have community theater, which role plays through resolving conflict peacefully. And we also have increased government engagement in the Core Plus area. So why are we talking about violence? Why do we need to focus on violence against children and interpersonal violence? We need to focus on it because it's an issue. From our baseline data, we know that more than 40% of caregivers use violence against children every month. But this number is actually much larger because when we probed further, we saw that most parents did not consider violence if it was discipline, if they were correcting the behavior of their child. That to them was not considered violence, even if they were physically beating or hitting the child. For example, 76% of parents in our baseline data agreed with the statement that stubborn children need to be hit to teach them right and wrong. And we found that, interestingly, mothers were using violence more often than fathers, mostly because mothers were doing a bit more of everything in the household as the primary caregiver. We also heard from caregivers that even if they didn't want to use violence, they had a lack of another option. How do I discipline my child if I don't use violence? When we come to inter-partner violence, we heard that 60% of caregivers used violence to resolve a conflict in the past month. That 60% is higher than the number of parents who are using violence against their children. So we saw that interpersonal violence was quite high. Almost all of this violence was against women. And as I mentioned, some research has shown that witnessing violence, not even experiencing it themselves, but witnessing violence can have effects on the child. So what we aim to do is to see how this additional violence reduction programming that we have can affect the learning outcomes of the child. It's kind of an unexplored area, and we want to learn more throughout this program. So as I said, we're in year 2. We will have 5 years of implementation with a dream of having 10. We'll have more data at the end of our midline in 2020, but I can share with you some initial findings from our post-testing. As I said, 76% of caregivers agreed that stubborn children need to be hit. In our treatment groups, we found that that was reduced to 50%. We look at positive parenting techniques, so the kind of opposite side of physical discipline. Explaining behavior is wrong to children. At baseline, this was only 2% of men and 4% of women who were explaining the reasons why the child's behavior was wrong. And after they'd been through our session, it was increased to 55%, which is a huge increase. And praising and encouraging the child, which is again on the positive side of parenting, increased as well from 18% for men and 30% to women up to 74%. If we look specifically between those core and core plus, we saw that 60% of our core families were resolving conflicts non-violently, and that increased 68% in core plus households. Now, what's interesting to me about this is that these are hard to change behaviors, and everyone in this room knows that behavior change is hard and it's slow. So I think these initial findings are quite interesting to see and very hopeful, but I hope that I can have a chance to share with you again later on at midline and endline, because I think we'll see even more interesting results. So thank you so much for your time today.
So thank you very much, Emily. I think we have heard it all. protection is not only focusing on the child, but any form of violence in the home affects child development. Helbert, it's your time. Share experiences from Uganda.
As they have already introduced me, I'm Herbert Kajesula from Uganda. I work for Save the Children in Uganda, and I support a project called Boost for the Youngest. I work as the meal officer, monitoring, evaluation, accountability, and learning officer for this project. To give you a brief overview of the project, this project is implemented in one district in Uganda, and that is Wakiso district. And in Wakiso district, we are working in 6 sub-counties, that is Namayumba, Masulita, Kachiri, Wakiso, and Ndeje, Makinde Sabagabo, and then Kasanje. And in all these sub-counties, we work at both community level and at health facility level. Our goal for this project was to support very young children from 0 to 3 years with the best start in life so as they can achieve their potential for physical, emotional, intellectual, and social well-being. But to achieve this, we had to develop a toolkit that we named Boost for the Youngest Toolkit. It's like this. And now this toolkit has different reading materials. This one, a Boost for the Youngest Toolkit, it is like a guiding book to both health workers and VHTs, a health community, healthy, our VHTs. So at the health facility, we train the health workers who conduct these sessions to the parents when they go there for treatment. And then at community level, we trained the VHTs who formed groups, and they meet once a week to go through our parenting sessions. We also, from this main toolkit, we came up with this flip chart. This flip chart is also used by both the health workers and the VHTs to conduct the parenting sessions. There is another one book that we have. It's for male engagement. After our intervention, we realized that male involvement was not that good, and we had to go back to make some research to get reasons why they don't come for the trainings. And after getting some information, as I will share down later, we decided to reduce the sessions, and we only came up with only 4 sessions for male. There are only 4. And then this main one, it has 18 sessions. That means that it takes them 18 weeks to complete the training sessions. After our 3rd year, as I've told you, we realized that male involvement was not good, and we had to go back for some research, and these are some of the issues that we got from men. Some men told us that they are always busy looking for money. So it's the women to come and attend or to go at the health facilities, and then for them they remain there looking for money to take care of their families. Then another issue they talked about, actually these were the stubborn ones, I think. They said a man can't conceive and they don't produce. So it's the women to go and listen to such things. But now I'm very happy to inform you that among these people, there was a border man who told me this. So I followed him up, and when we started forming the male groups, I went to his border stage, and I got him. Right now he's one of our facilitators in that border group. Other reasons they gave at health facility, rudeness of the health workers. Sometimes they go there, they escort their wives, but when they reach there, the response they get from midwives and other health workers stops them from going back again. Then also family conflicts. Sometimes if there are conflicts between a woman, a wife and the husband, sometimes it's hard, for example, a man to go with the wife for like checkup and other things. They also talked about, especially these are the border guys, they fear to be tested for HIV because they know when they escort their wives for antenatal, maternity, sometimes they are asked to be tested for HIV. Also, some of them said because of unwanted pregnancies, you know, someone can just impregnate someone, but when the person is not willing to take full control or care for the person. So that's why even if they call them, sometimes they don't do what? They don't go. And then, after knowing all that, we decided to lay some strategies on how we can improve male involvement in child development and also to attend our parenting sessions. One of the strategies, I've talked about it, we had to reduce the training manual for male, and we only came up with 4 sessions. That means that they only meet 4 times a month and they finish their session. 2, we decided to use the already existing male groups. The reason why we did this, we are looking at sustainability. Because at first, the groups after training the VHTs, when they go in their villages, they just form groups. After forming those groups, the moment they finish the sessions, the parenting sessions, they don't meet again. But now this time around, what we did, also to get these men, we decided to use the already existing groups. And these groups, for example, in Wakiso, we have a barracks. We got one group from the barracks, the soldiers, and they sit every Monday. We also got some religious groups from Catholic Church, Anglican, and also Muslims, because we believe that these groups will always be there and they always meet. Another strategy was reaching men, because now we are focusing more on reaching men. We decided to reach them to their workplaces. For example, the good example I can give you, yes, the soldiers, we go in the barracks, in their barracks. Then the border people, we go to their stages, different stages, and we just find them there. Another strategy was, yes, forming the male groups, because we did this after asking them. They said sometimes they don't feel comfortable discussing with women. Sometimes they might be having their own issues that they want to pass out, but they fear to speak out because ladies are there, and you know when it comes to arguing, I think ladies, you're good, you're good at that. So they fear that, they don't want to argue. Then another issue, strategy, was conducting dialogue meetings. We do conduct dialogue meetings on a monthly basis in all our 6 sub-counties. And these dialogue meetings, we keep talking about different topics that can involve men in supporting their children and wives. And actually this has worked for us because we are seeing some positive response. Because at first, you call for a meeting, they encourage them to come. When they come, as after you introducing what you're going to talk about, the session, the topic and all that, you just see them leaving slowly by slowly. By the end, by the time you finish, most men have left, but now they come, they sit up to the end. At least there, I believe that we're achieving that. Also, in this group training that we're conducting, we decided to provide them with to award them with the certificates. Like when someone comes for the training, at the end, we give them some certificates. And by the way, they are very happy because at first we thought it was something simple to them. But when we were training the leaders who were supposed to train the groups, after issuing the certificates to them, some guy was like, hey, okay, you said, I've never went to school, I don't have anything, is this your certificate? So in that, we thought that they liked it and we decided to take it on. Another strategy at the health facility.
So maybe, Herbert, you'll be...
Yes, I'm about. Yeah. Another strategy at the health facility, they kept on saying that every time they go or they escort their wives, they keep doing a lot of nothing. They sit there and then they work on ladies and then go. So what we did, we encouraged the health workers to at least make them busy. When they go there, they are checked for blood pressure and they make them to weigh themselves. So in doing that, as they're working on their wives, they are also busy here doing something. And the last two that I want to talk about, they are strategies, but we've not yet implemented them because of the small budget we have. We thought of some things that can attract men, like football. So we are planning to have some football tournaments that can attract men. So we use that time or the platform to sensitize them about child stimulation and how to support, or the importance of supporting their wives. And then the last one is about radio and TV talk shows. But these ones, radio and TV talk shows, if we are to put them in use or practice, we make sure that we get the best time where, for example, there is no football. Because if you set a radio talk show or a TV show when there is football, trust me, you will not get them. Thank you very much.
Okay. So thank you very much, Herbert. And I like the passion and the specific examples. I think it was real. I think male involvement is an issue we are all grappling with, but thank you for the time and sharing that. Let me open up. We have limited time. Allow me to humbly ask that when you are asking the question, go straight to the question. Others, I know there are comments, but in the interest of time, because others may also have questions to ask. So I'm opening up the floor for people to react. We have listened to World Vision Rwanda, Save the Children Tanzania and Uganda. Any reactions? Yeah, I see a hand there. Yeah? Can we give the mic there?
There's a mic here. Please.
I'm Dr. Alain, doctors working at the Grimhavu District Hospital. It is about behavior changing, which is difficult. I was asking if we can shift to motivate the teenagers to give some training to teenagers about ECD. What do you think about it? Thank you.
Just go with the mic.
Okay. What else? Who else? Yeah.
Thank you. I'd like to learn from various presenters about their own experiences on the incentives for parent caregivers in terms of promoting or enhancing positive parenting. If there's any model they can share with us.
Okay. Who else? Yeah, I see a hand there.
Thank you. I wanted to ask my question in Kinyarwanda.
Yeah, feel free.
Ndabaza umushyitsi guturuka muri Uganda yadusangije uburyo bashyira mu bikorwa gahunda ya ECD guturuka kuri 0 kugeza ku myaka 3. Ariko ndifuza kumenya ese izo serivisi zitangirwa ahantu hamwe babigenza gute? Murakoze.
Okay, so I also see a hand there.
Thank you. My question is also basing on the question of the first delegate or the first speaker. My name is Kevin from the Excella Model UN. So he mentioned that the training could be basically on the teenagers, but I would like to emphasize that maybe the training could be basically on the youth as well. Thank you.
Okay, so let me have one more, then they'll respond. Okay, it seems we are okay. Panelists, respond questions that are specific to you. Comments, take them as comments, but again, observe time. I give a minute and a half to each one of you.
Thank you. I think for me, I can just respond on the models that are in place in terms of parenting that can be shared. One, we have the minimum standard, which we all know that is available, and we are following it. But we also have in World Vision globally, not World Vision Rwanda only, but globally we have the model on ECD. One is Go Baby Go, which is dealing with children from 0 to 3, and another one is Learning Roots, which deals with children 3 to 6 years. So they have the sessions, parenting sessions through all the process. And I think whoever needs it, I can easily share it with you. Thank you.
Okay.
Hello? Okay. On teenage mothers and youth, motivating teenagers and youth as well, I would just say that both of those sound like great points. From our experience in our program, we find that young parents, especially teenage mothers, and in a few cases teenage fathers, are some of the most active participants and the first people to register and sign up for our sessions. Just from my own experience, I think that this might be related to they're first-time parents, so they have more questions around parenting and what to expect, both from the mothers and the fathers. But they're new and they're open to new ideas. So I think that for our program specifically, in order to register, you have to either have a child or be pregnant or be the partner of someone who has a child or is pregnant. But I find that they participate quite actively. We even have some evidence to show that teenage mothers are recalling messages more rapidly, so it's really great to see that. On positive parenting models, I think that's, again, a great point. We find that these things go side by side. If you want parents to stop physically disciplining their child, you have to provide them with alternatives. You can't just not discipline your child. You have to find other ways to do it, and that is through positive parenting. And so we've been trying to focus a lot on that as well, not just these negative messages, don't hit your child. That's important, but what you also have to say is, listen to your child, explain what they've done wrong, use praise so they know what's good behavior, and that they can increase that. And we also have some specific techniques that we use, that we encourage parents to use with their child to resolve conflicts peacefully. So I'd be happy to share that. I think, did that cover it all?
Yeah.
Okay. About the question of models, I'd request our technical advisor, Carol, to talk about that. And then another question is about the services. I don't know whether I got it right. She asked whether all these services are being given at the same centers. So what we do, as I told you, that in each sub-county, we work at both community level using VHTs, our health teams, and then in health facilities, we work with health workers. So we get government-based health facilities where we train these people, and these are the only centers where we concentrate and these services are given. And then at community level, we train VHTs who provides or who trains the formed groups. I think that's the question she asked.
Okay. So currently I've been given reference to respond. Can I also give you just a minute? The mic is there.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your question about the model that we use. So because this program is a birth to 3 program, we felt that in the Ugandan context, working through the health system was the best opportunity. So when we think about programming for birth to 3-year-olds at Save the Children, we think also of using existing structures and using every available entry point where we can be able to find parents and children of birth to 3 years. And in Uganda, in specifically this district of Wakiso, we felt working through the Health Center 4 and Health Center 3 structures was the best approach. So in Uganda, the Health Center 4 and Health Center 3, they offer different services, including prenatal counseling, postnatal counseling, antiretroviral therapy clinic, even deliveries. So they are very busy health centers. So one of the things that I like that they are doing there is that the health staff have designed a kind of roster that they use to determine which health messages are passed whenever they are interacting with parents. And one clever thing they did is to include ECD messages around playing, early communication, responsive caregiving, and positive discipline as part of the talks they give. So when parents come for these other services, these other health services, before giving them these services like vaccination, prenatal counseling, they first have a health talk. And they take about 5 to 10 minutes to discuss about ECD, and then they discuss about nutrition, about how to prepare for having a baby,
And they also do some growth monitoring for those children who are, from birth just after they are born up to age 5. So there are many, many opportunities at these health facilities. And it's not just the midwives and nurses, but they also have health promoters. So all these people have been trained by Save the Children to deliver ECD messages. And at the community level, he has explained about the village health teams. Village health teams are like community health workers in Rwanda. And they have contact at the community level with parents. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Caroline. And we are lucky as Rwanda because you are part of us. So keep on talking, because as head you have developed the curriculum, and I think the issues of male involvement in the curriculum are highly, expanded.
Yes.
And I think for you, Helbert, the resource materials you're showing us, we appreciate to relieve you of luggage when you are flying out to have the copies. Okay, I want to close the session, but I think the issue of should we train the youth is noted, and I think we just need to appreciate that the youth, the teenagers are also in school, and we are not promoting to train them as caregivers for the center. That we should appreciate, but they have the energy to help us make play materials, facilitate play at the centers when they have the time. At the same time, we appreciate for parenting within the home, they are also a resource in terms of playing with their siblings, interacting, and reducing even the violence. They can also play a role to ensure that the home is conducive. For Rwanda specific, the parenting curriculum has appreciated the issue of adolescents, taking from the angle that soon or in future, they're also going to be parents. So the curriculum has also more like put a statement on that. The national coordinator, you may have a word.
Just a quick one. I realize that through the discussions, not just now, but of course I'm picking it from the child protection component in the session, I think as people in area of ECD, be it those who are doing research, be it those who are programming, all these documents that we put up, we need to have consistency on the language of disciplining. Some of us are saying violence, others are saying physical punishment. Because why I'm saying this is because violence and physical punishment are not the same. So we need to be consistent so that as we are talking with the parents, explaining the importance of positive discipline, what is our start point? It has to be physical punishment, not violence, because violence is indeed violence. But if physical punishment, for example, we are talking about what here we call akanyafu. I look at my colleague representing REACH here, the religious arm, and I don't want to have problems when I write a curriculum saying kona akanyafu, when the Bible they follow, and I think the Quran, pardon me, I don't know, says spare the rod, spoil the child. Now, of course, there is a lot of debate on what do you mean by the rod? It could be actually words. It doesn't have to be a stick or whatever people use. But I think we, in the ECD domain, whichever way we are coming in, research, programming, and everything, we need to be consistent with our language. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Coordinator. Reaching this far, allow me to thank the team and for the time and for allowing to share the experiences, and for the organizers for also entrusting us to be part of this panel discussion. Let's clap hands for our members. I hand over to the leader of this session.
Thank you very much to the panel. Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of the first morning session. We now would like to invite you for lunch, but also keeping in mind that we will meet here in an hour for the closing ceremony, but also to hear the resolutions and the launch of the Early Childhood Development 2-year multimedia campaign. This will be a presentation by the National Early Childhood Development Program and UNICEF. Enjoy your lunch. See you in an hour. Thank you.